Hello YouTubers, this is Cessnaace back again with another ads video, this time concentrating on magazines, although what I'm going to show first is not a magazine. Up until recently, IDW, which owns the comic book rights to the Star Trek franchise, also owned the comic book rights to the Doctor Who franchise. And they had done a comic book mini-series which crossed over Star Trek The Next Generation and Doctor Who. Now, that's not as crazy as you might think. Prior to that, there had been a novel which crossed over Star Trek The Next Generation with the X-Men. Well, keeping that in mind, I was at Books A Million recently and came across this crossover between Star Trek and DC Comics' Legion of Superheroes. This is actually pretty good. And although there are quite a number of surprises in here, I'm not going to give any of them away. This cost me $19.99, and I believe it was worth it. There are a number of really good paintings in here. There's one preceding each chapter. This is my favorite. It precedes chapter 3. This is first edition. Okay, now on to the magazines. First up we have Nostalgia Digest. In this issue there is a mini interview with Julie Newmar, an article on the Thin Man series, an article on Mel Blanc, called Fill in the Blank, and an article which I found very interesting. "1928, a great year for television." There were 4 television sets in use to receive the broadcast in question here in New York. They had an enormous 1.5-inch wide screen. But this talks about the technological race that was taking place in the US and the UK for broadcast television. The first actual American broadcast, which they did mention, I believe, was 1925. Anyway, of course, I had to pick up the most recent issue of Video Watchdog. This is issue 177. Fantastic Voyage, which have on Laserdisc and widescreen. I've mentioned it several times, but I highly recommend this magazine. And judging from the letters column, it has a worldwide readership. Baden-Baden and Birmingham, UK. Okay, speaking of the UK, this is a UK publication. Cinema Retro, another highly recommended, excellent magazine. Although this is the import edition. I know because it says right here, special UK import limited edition, read in over 20 countries worldwide. And although printed in the UK, I believe I noticed that all the spellings are American spellings, but I may have my magazines mixed up. Anyway, there is an excellent article, well, actually part 2 of an article on the John Wayne film El Dorado with Robert Mitchum. This article compares this with 2 other Howard Hawks films with John Wayne, Rio Bravo and Rio Lobo. This is one of those films where the John Wayne character is not sympathetic. I was surprised to find out that this film actually opened in Japan before it opened in the US. A lot of really interesting articles and tidbits in here. I don't want to go too fast and miss a tidbit. Here's the article for A Hard Day's Night, or at the beginning of it. Richard Lester. And it continues on and on. A French actress. I'm not familiar with her. I believe she's French. Somebody might comment and correct me. As I've stated before, there is a technical glitch. I cannot reply to comments posted to my videos, but I read them all. Super High Band Betamax. I have to point him out because he is my most frequent commenter of late. Pinewood Past. This is a bit on the Jerry Anderson series, Space Precinct. I did not know until I read this that it was financed by American backers who went into liquidation during this series because it was so expensive. In fact, they mentioned by episode 18. Okay. One of the full-scale police hover cars on the back lot of Pinewood. There are also shots of them shooting Journey to the Far Side of the Sun, UFO, and Space 1999, all 3 of which were shot at Pinewood. Now, you're not going to believe me when I tell you this, but I first opened this up the first time. That sounds redundant. I said, that looks like Susan George. And I got to looking at it, and you know what? It is Susan George. From the film Fright. Now they're right here on It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. They reprint press releases and so forth from back in the day. And this one concerns It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. I believe they mentioned that this is the first film, or that was the first film, to be shot using the single camera Cinerama process. But it was still an enormously expensive film. And there was something in here, limited edition box set Blu-ray, being released in the UK, called Super Marionation. Of course, now I can't find it. Limited, I believe, to 1,500 copies. And it includes a full-size comic book in the style of TV-21. And in fact, picks up right where that Jerry Anderson comic book series left off. Of course, I'm not finding it because I'm looking for it. Oh well, it's in there somewhere. Okay. Film Facts Plus. And Film Facts Plus. The non-sport price guide, well, update. Because now the price guide is separate. And I noticed that there were a number of new Doctor Who and Star Trek trading card sets coming out. So I counted to see how many, for example, Star Trek sets have already been released. 73, if I counted correctly. This is the most recent edition, and it comes in a bag because they usually include promo cards, and usually one or more are exclusive to the non-sport update. Used to be published by Tough Stuff. I guess they still are. Coming winter 2014. Okay, we have here Marvel Masterpieces. This is Hulk from Skybox. I got a Three Stooges promo card last time. Chronicles of the Three Stooges, Series 2. This is Promo 2. I wonder if I got Promo 1 last time because it was different. Had a different image. I have so many promo cards in my collection already. Monsters and Maniacs, Promo 3. And Sleepy Hollow. This is from Cryptozoic, and it also has the 20th Century Fox logo on it. This is promo card P1. The last time I counted, I had well over 80 different trading card series, non-sport. That's what I'm into, non-sport. Okay. That's the separate price guide. Model Railroad News. From the publishers of Classic Toy Trains, Lionel Trains Accessories, O-Gauge Railroading, this is obviously from more than one trip. Classic Toy Trains, tribute to Robin Williams, Star Trek Magazine. This is another UK-based magazine that's also printed for the US market, but I believe this is printed in the US. Okay, back to movies. The Phantom of the Movies Videoscope. And although this is a black and white magazine, it's also one I recommend. Shock Cinema. Where have I seen that picture before? Retro Gamer. This is also a UK publication, so it cost a lot of money because it's imported. Well, $12.99. That's a lot. There is in here a comparison, tech-wise, to the Atari 7800, Sega Master System, and Nintendo Entertainment System. Now, the Atari 7800 apparently sold better in Europe than it did here. And of course, the Master System sold better in Europe than it did here. And in Brazil, the Master System killed. But processor. Atari had the Sally 6502C operating at 1.79 megahertz. NES Rico 2A03 6502 core operating at 1.79 megahertz. And the Master System, the Zilog Z80 operating at 4 megahertz. Memory 7800 4K RAM, 4K ROM. NES 2K RAM, 2K VROM or VRAM. Master System 8K. Okay, colors 7800 25, NES 25, Master System 52. The 7800 palette 256, NES 52, Master System 256. Sprites 7800 30 plus per line. NES 8 per line. Master System 16. Resolution 7800 320 by 240. NES 256 by 224. and the Master System 259 by 192. Sound, 7800 2-channel mono, NES 5-channel mono, Master System 3-channel mono. That, however, does not include games for the 7800 that came with the built-in Hoki chip or the Japanese Master System, which had the Yamaha FM chip. But a really interesting article, and they had some peripherals planned for it that never came out. Typical of Atari. This is a keyboard. They plan to turn the 7800 into a computer. Europe got a better controller than we did. Love this magazine because there is a lot devoted to homebrews in here, covering Amstrad, Commodore, Sega, Nintendo, Atari, Sinclair, Neo Geo, Sony, coin-op, mobile, or as they would say in England, mobile. Okay. And I'm not sure where this is published, US or UK. It's printed in the UK. Comic Heroes. This has a rather cool article on Doctor Who comics and the history of Doctor Who comics. So far, I've only seen comics from Titan, the new company that publishes Doctor Who comics, based on the 10th Doctor and the 11th Doctor, and have wondered, are they waiting to do the 12th Doctor? Well, they are planning to do the 12th Doctor. In fact, they've seen at least one of the 5 alternate covers for the first issue of the 12th Doctor, played by Peter Capaldi. This goes into all of their plans. For example, the companions are different from the TV versions. Maybe you can have different companions, new companions, whatever. So you have the David Tennant Doctor, you have the Matt Smith Doctor, and you have Peter Capaldi Doctor, and they plan on doing miniseries based on Doctors 1 through 9. An occasional one-shot. Somewhere in here, they go over the history of Doctor Who comics. But it's not there. I did not know until I came across that article that Marvel Comics at one time had the license. And they published at least one issue as part of the Marvel Premiere series. Of course, I'm looking for it, and I'm not finding it. But this is obviously, as it shows here, meant for UK consumption primarily, because that's not how an American would spell colorists. I used to joke with my UK friends on Skype. That would be colour and not color. But just a joke. I'm looking for it and I'm not finding it. It's just the way it goes. Manga artist. I never heard of that. I have a comic book series for adults called Manga File. I have several of those. Anyway, if I don't stop now, this video will last forever and take forever to upload. So I don't know what I'm going to do next time. Vinyl ads or DVD ads. I've got a lot of DVD ads to do, or what I will do, but I will do something. Until next time, stay awesome. Okay, I've got a new mouse that's supposed to be more responsive than the old one. Stay awesome.